What if I told you that underneath Paris lies a dark city that is filled with mysteries, legends, and even disappearances? J'ai trop peur. So I decided to come l'après-midi, in the afternoon, mais j'avais oublié que maintenant c'est nuit à 17h. Like it's evening at 5 p.m. Almost be nighttime. Il va presque faire nuit à Paris maintenant. It's really interesting because they were initially actually built to extract stone from the underground to build above Paris. So everyone thinks that they were just here for the corpses, mais en fait pas du tout, not at all. They were first here to help. Oh my gosh, il y a des trucs sur les murs. Plus, I'm like basically all alone, toute seule. They were first made to extract the stones to build the above Paris. And c'est super intéressant because there's like a lot of, il y a beaucoup de dates importantes. Like this dates back from when they extracted the stone to build the above Paris. The catacombs are also known as like the Empire of the Dead, and that's because there are about like 6 million buried Parisians, des Parisiens qui ont été enterrés. En fait, la raison pourquoi ils sont enterrés, why they are buried, is parce que at the end of the 18th century, there were way too many corpses to fit into the cemeteries. So actually the cemeteries of Paris were overflowing. Il y en avait beaucoup trop, in some very famous cemeteries as well. Et donc, où est-ce qu'il fallait les mettre? Where were we supposed to put all these Parisians? Underground, in what used to be the quarries. There's so many tunnels. Tu vois, là, il y a la date, 1780. So, the date. Oh, it's so humid in here. C'est hyper humide, sa mère. I haven't seen any skeletons or bones yet, and I realized that I have never seen any in my whole life. Donc là, ce sera une première fois. It will be a first time. I mean, I know it's a like historical monument, heritage of France, so, you know, j'ai pas si peur que ça, mais un peu quand même. Et là où on est, where we are right now, is only 1% of all the catacombs. C'est que 1%. Donc c'est vraiment immense. Actually, people that are really fan of catacombs, ils ont un nom. Ces gens qui sont très fans des catacombes, on les appelle les cataphiles. So these people are called the cataphiles, and it's like a whole community. Who are the cataphiles? Les cataphiles, en fait, they're people that it's in the name that really love the catacombs and preserving the catacombs and spending time here. And I actually watched like one of their interviews before. Oh, there's like water dripping. They were saying that they feel like you're really disconnected from the world down here. And they say that they find it like a pure of raw form nature, like it's just rock. And although there are no plants and animals, they really feel disconnected here, and you know, no one is on their phone and no one is roaming, and they feel like they're in their own little bubble. And so they really love it here. And they love preserving here and photographing here. And actually, a lot of people don't know this, but the catacombs are also like an art gallery. So not an art gallery, but like people make works of art. There's like, see these closed doors? This closed door that's behind me, it means that you can't go past that. Tu peux pas rentrer derrière ça. My heart is thumping so fast. And here, like, we can see 85 grams, 1878. So that's probably related to when it was a quarry, when they had to extract the stone to build Paris above. So what I was saying before about here being like a underground Paris is because you have street signs like this one, où c'est écrit Avenue de Montsouris. So this means that we're right below this avenue. Du coup, c'est vraiment un Paris sous terre. It's really an underground Paris because the same streets above have the same streets below. Guys, like, I'm not gonna film too much here because I feel very strange filming with all of these corpses and skulls, but it's just to say that, like, it's also a memorial site. là, je crois qu'on sort de la partie des cadavres. We're going out of the place with the corpses, and we're in front of there are a lot of these stones with quotes, and this one says où est-elle la mort? Where is death? Toujours futur ou passé, always future or the past. À peine est-elle présente que déjà elle n'est plus. Ah ouais, c'est pas fini. It's not over. I thought we were at the end of the corpses, but I guess not. And you can see, derrière moi, there's a lot of closed doors. Il y a beaucoup de portes fermées. That's because there's only 1% of toutes les catacombes qui sont ici, and the rest is off limits. But there are a lot of young Parisians and explorers that go explore them. So même si là on est dans 1% des catacombes, il y a quand même une grande partie qu'il y a beaucoup de monde qui va, dont les cataphiles, including the cataphile people. And suddenly there's no one. D'un coup, il y a quasiment personne. Je pensais pas que de voir autant de cadavres, ça allait me mettre un petit peu mal à l'aise. I feel it's putting me a little bit unease. I've made a lot of videos on here, and I think this is the first one that I'm maybe I could have filmed this at home. No, but not really. C'est une expérience à faire. Et aussi, je pense que la plupart des gens sont pas au courant. There's the cultural aspect. Il y a l'aspect culturel. Because, it's also part of Paris's heritage, France's heritage. And it's interesting to know that there's not only a city above ground, but that there's also a city below ground, qu'il y a une ville en dessous. And I came to this station and on this line so many times in the past almost 2 years que je suis à Paris. Mais là, c'est la première fois que je viens en catacombe. Actually, les catacombs stretches over 200 miles, which is over 300 kilometers. Donc c'est vraiment immense. It's absolutely huge. And there's a lot of urban explorers and people that come sneak in, and a lot of young people qui font les soirées ici, which is illegal, contre la loi. And there are the ones that are very interested dans les catacombes, which are called les cataphiles, the cataphiles. And they spend a lot of time, most of them come every week and they explore different parts. Mais il faut vraiment faire attention. You really need to be careful. It's better to just come to the museum where I am now, parce que tu vois assez, you see enough without endangering yourself, sans te mettre en danger. Il y a eu beaucoup de légendes, en fait, sous les catacombes. There are a lot of legends, including some disappearances. Il y a eu des gens qui ont disparu, including the case en 1793 of Philibert Asper. He was actually a doorman in a hospital called, I forgot the name of the hospital, and he came actually to the catacombs in search of finding a very rich wine cellar that the monks had hidden here before. Mais malheureusement, il est jamais ressorti. He never came out. So he completely vanished and disappeared. And till today, jusqu'à aujourd'hui, personne l'a retrouvé. They found his bones 11 years later. C'est vraiment une histoire qui fait peur. Very scary. En fait, il n'y a pas seulement les cataphiles. There are not only the cataphiles who come here. Il y a aussi d'autres sortes de personnes. There's all types of people that come in the catacombs, including people who don't just come to find peace and solitude. Il y a aussi ceux qui font... Attends, là, je vois plus rien. I don't see anything. Okay. Including the ones that do, not great things. Du coup, en 2004, in 2004, they found a full underground cinema. Ils ont trouvé un cinéma sous-sol avec le projecteur, with the projector, avec les sièges, avec tous les électroniques. And they found this in 2004, and the police, they're called the cataphiles, which is cata police in French, couldn't find who did this. And later on, there was a group, I'll put it here, that claimed that they did it. And so actually, this reminds us that there's a whole other city here. There are so many things that we don't know that's going on here. And so I would advise not to go by yourself. Unlike me. No, I'm joking. I'm in the part which is accessible to the public, but it just so happens qu'il y a personne, that there's no one. So it's super creepy. In a place like this, dans un endroit comme ça, bien sûr, there are haunting tales and dark stories, including the one of the cursed skulls, meaning that they said that some of these skulls are actually cursed. They bear a curse on them, and that's also why it's advised to not touch them, not only to preserve the skulls, pour les préserver, but also because peut-être qu'ils sont hantés. Une autre histoire, another story that happened in the 1990s, dans les années 90, c'était qu'il y avait un monsieur, there was a man, he snuck into the catacombs, il est rentré dans les catacombes, montrer un documentaire. He was an artist and he wanted to show a documentary about the catacombs and to show himself go in and go out, sauf qu'il est jamais sorti. He was never able to come out. And I saw this footage just yesterday. J'ai vu cette vidéo juste hier. And it also made me not want to come parce que c'est vraiment flippant. It's a really, really scary video. So if you want to see that video, you can look it up. And here I'm just walking et il y a un tableau, c'est écrit, c'est par la malice du démon que la mort est entrée dans le monde. So it's by the demon and like the wanting of him that there's like bad things that entered our world. So just reading this and just walking around here, je sais pas, je pense peut-être faire des mauvais rêves. I think I'll do nightmares tonight. And I don't know why I'm whispering parce qu'il y a pas grand monde, there's not many people, but I feel like it's very eerie. And so you may be wondering when this like burial site turned into a tourist attraction. Quand est-ce que c'est devenu ouvert pour les touristes? It was in 1809. So that's when like tourists started coming in, but it had a lot of purposes. There were so many purposes. Like for example, they made it into un théâtre, a theater, like for rich people to come down, and also there were people that said like it was the chance to meet the devil or to meet the dead, and so there were many reasons that came after it, but it was a huge transformation. And of course where we are right now, c'est juste une petite partie. It's like a really, really small part. Because the rest of 300 kilometers of catacombs remains off limits. But of course there are people that are going, and there are just so many legends, and it's such a fascinating spot because I feel like there are people who either absolutely love it, there are people who are creeped out by it, il y a des gens qui ont très très peur, and also there are historians that are fascinated by it. So I would say that c'est une expérience à faire, like it's something really to do. Well, it just dripped on me. C'est une expérience à faire. But I would advise you to do it in the daytime. And also, like, be respectful. Like, I think don't touch anything, don't run around, don't go into places that are off limits. Juste fais attention. L'aspect histoire est très, très, très intéressant. Tu peux voir que c'est écrit la restauration d'un mur d'ossement. So, it's the restoration du mur des os. And you can see qu'ils continuent à récupérer les pierres. They're getting the rocks. Et là, je pense qu'ils sont en train de tout trier. They're sorting everything to restore the walls qu'on voit derrière là-bas, that we can see over there. And now I'm in a part, je suis dans une partie qui c'est écrit tous égaux face à la mort. It means we're all equal facing death, and it explains here that there's someone that wrote in the guest book of Les Catacombs. He wrote, I visited the true temple of equality. So it's kind of to show that even if you are an aristocrate or une personne très très riche, the way that you were buried, la manière que tu étais enterré, c'était tous pareil. It was all the same. So over the next several decades, sur les prochaines décennies, bones from over 6 million Parisians were transferred to the catacombs. Il y avait plus de 6 millions qui étaient transférés ici. So, bones and skulls were carefully stacked along the walls, kind of forming this very eerie labyrinth, une sorte de labyrinthe. But what began as a solution to a public health crisis evolved into a haunting masterpiece. là, je marche et en fait, juste en haut, just above, en fait, il y a un trou des mines. It's the hole to when they were mining this area. Oh, I see stairs. Je vois les escaliers. Donc, je pense que c'est la fin. I think this is the end. That was a very interesting time spent all the way underground in the dark city. It was an interesting thing to do by myself, toute seule. Let me know if you wanted me to visit other cultural places at Paris while it's a workout. And if you want to know more stories, because I'm going to have some every week, even though there's a lot of content for Christmas coming up et Noël à Paris et en France. I hope to see you very soon. Subscribe to this channel if you're new here. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. Et fais de beaux rêves. Have sweet dreams.